Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Thomas Kai, representing the Student International Business Council, and I am happy to tell you about my project, Business Professionalism, which we will be helping all of you with all of your professional needs to get you out into the business world so they're ready to take that first step. Joining me today is Professor Dave Geenens. He is Professor of Management, also teaches in the MBA program, and has much business experience. It's a great person to learn from. Dave, thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I guess what we're going to start with is you have a topic you mentioned to me that you call the art of inquiry. Can you tell me something about that?
Sure. And when you introduce the whole idea of the podcast as business professionalism, that's a really wide berth. And one of the most important elements that I think I can advise any student or anyone who is entering the professional ranks of business would be to learn to get comfortable with asking questions. And it feels to me as a professor and as someone who's in business that I don't know what the nature of the lack of or the constraint is for actually asking questions, but we have to get beyond it because there's nothing honestly more professional than to ask questions. I think students, again, I was a student, so I can speak from firsthand knowledge. It's been a while. Don't let the gray hair fool you. It has been a while. But I almost never asked the question in class, which I was afraid of looking stupid. But I always asked the question. I would be the shadow of the professor as he or she walks back to their office, and I would ask the question because I wanted to learn something. And as I've matured and as I entered the business world, what I saw was a lot more people asking questions for all sorts of reasons. And it made me comfortable asking questions. Now I kid myself sometimes. I'm the stupidest guy in the room because I'm always asking questions. If someone uses a word that I don't understand, I've got no problem going, that is the first time I've heard that word. What does it mean? Now that may sound elementary. And a lot of people would say, well, that's not professional at all. And I would say to the person you're asking, it shows, number one, you're listening. Number two, you care enough about learning that you actually will ask questions. And all of a sudden, when someone asks me those kind of questions, I'm focused on them because I know they're very interested. And so that was kind of, I guess, my gut, Thomas, when you mentioned business professionalism, it's an art of being able to inquire.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think part of it too is like when you ask questions, it shows whoever you're being interviewed by or your employer that you're actually interested. Because from what I've heard from numerous people is a lot of the time your personality can sometimes get you much farther than some of the experience you have. Now, granted, that does not negate the importance of your experience or anything else you have. But if you're interested in the job you're applying for or interested in whatever it is you're going for and you show them that you care about what they have to think and what you want to learn from them, they will be a lot more inclined to talk to you, to get to know you. It's also, I think that also puts them more in a place of comfort because it feels like you're engaging with them because most people bear awkward silence. It gets awkward. It's exactly what it is. So when you inquire, it enables you to talk to the person you're with, get you comfortable talking to them, but also get them comfortable talking with you.
Yeah, I think you're right on, Thomas. I think one of the keys to this whole thing, and you brought up the context of an interview for people that are post college, getting ready to go to job interviews and professional interviews, is that a prerequisite to inquiry is listening. And maybe that's the obstacle. It's not so much the inquiry, it's the listening. Because if you're listening to what someone in an interview is saying, your inquiry has to have some context and relevance to what they're talking about. Okay. And if you're always constantly thinking about, well, gosh, I have this question, but that was 15 minutes ago that the topic happened, that's going to look really awkward and look unprofessional. But active listening, where you are totally turned in, you eliminate all distractions. And I know that's hard for young people these days because there are so many, especially, put your phone away, turn it off. You don't need it in an interview, and you don't need it if you're touring a factory once you have the job or you're interacting with employees. That's a nuisance. So just get rid of it. I know when I teach, you will not see me with my cell phone in the classroom. There's a reason for that. I'm teaching. I'm focused. So let's start there, I guess, as the first reverse engineering of the art of inquiry is to learn to listen.